Hi guys, and welcome to the horror room. So today is my birthday. Woo! Last week I went to the horror convention out in Indy, and I got some goodies. I decided to wait. I couldn't do it that day. I just had too much going on, so I said, why not? We always do these videos on Wednesday anyway, so let's just do it on my birthday. Um, I also have some other stuff that is not part of that pickup, so I'm gonna do that first and show you some of that stuff. And also, I will have a video reviewing the new Toxic Avenger movie. That's I'm probably actually, as you're watching this right now, I'm probably on my way to watch that movie. Um, but that won't be coming out till probably like next week. I'm gonna see it, kind of go in, not blind. I've seen the trailer and stuff, but kind of not without any bias. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. But anyways, let's get on to the haul. First off, let's start off with the one thing that I ordered online that I was really excited to get, and that's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre poster figure by NECA. They basically recreated the poster, as you can see, and he's got like the blue shirt, and he's got the special apron, and it's even got the text scroll from the beginning of the movie. It's pretty awesome. Glad to add that to my collection because there's not a lot of Leatherface figures, and I got the Pretty Woman, I got the regular one, and I got the Atari one. So yeah, those are pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now let's take a look at two other items I ordered that didn't come from the VHS haul, but they are VHS. First off, I have Halloween Trick or Treat. This basically was made in light of the Satanic Panic movement in the 80s. Like, people were freaking out. Oh, so this is basically a Christian propaganda tape. But I thought, hey, what the heck? It's going to be kind of funny. And it fits the mood. It's got the witch lady on the front. Let's read the back, though, for a good laugh. The Pagan Invasion, Volume 1. Oh. This highly informative video traces the pagan origins and history of Halloween, the pagan occult calendar of druids, witches, pagans, and Satanists. They love that word, pagans. Marks Halloween as one of their highest holy days. This video uncovers the mystic druidic rites and ceremonies with which Samhain, or Samhain, Halloween, was originally observed 4,000 years ago. The occult rituals seen in this video are real and not reenactments. Oh my gosh! All the seemingly innocent symbolism of Halloween, black cats, snakes, broomsticks, bonfires, trick-or-treat, jack-o'-lanterns, apple dunking, and costumes, has its roots in sorcery, witchcraft, and Satanism. You're damn right it does, and that's why it's so great. Parents' responsibilities are challenged to decide whether to allow their children to participate in celebrations which glorify pagan occultism. The video features Chuck Smith, Carol. I'm not even going to say the names. I already said one, but it could be a fake name. That's not. As well as a number of witches, Satanists, and law enforcement officials. This dramatic expose will change your opinion of Halloween forever. I highly fucking doubt it, but this was just too hilarious not to pass up. And yes, I'm going to keep it right here in the spooky room with all my pagan, heathenistic Satan movies. And here's one of them now. The Toolbox Murders. This is a Grindhouse classic. Very early, is it 70s? I think it's 70s. It says 89, but that can't be right. But yeah, it's a Cameron Mitchell movie. Cameron Mitchell's in it. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen this. Obviously, everybody remembers the bathtub scene. Now, this is one of those movies that the first time I watched it, I was like, eh. But, I'm pretty sure it's going to hold up a little better than I remember. And, look at that cover. That's pretty cool. Pretty iconic. So now, without further ado, let's take a look at what I got at the dead media or dead format convention, not dead media. Um, Now, this was something I spotted like halfway through. It's a rather small event, but um, and I was like, ooh, I was like, I like that. And of course, near the end, when I was running out of money, I just happened to have just enough, and it was the last item I bought, but doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. And that is this Piranha poster, I believe. I want to say it's Spanish, pretty sure. Um, but that's not why I bought it. Obviously, it's got that awesome cover. I have the shirt. I used to have the Warner Brothers clamshell with this cover, and then it's got like a dead body over there. Pretty cool. Um, I kind of want to save this for last, but it's not a VHS, so I guess I should do the non VHS stuff first. So, well, recently I showed that I got one of my holy grail items, and that was the Halloween Criterion Laserdisc. And I just so happened to find another holy grail of mine on Laserdisc, and it was the only Laserdisc I bought. There were some other options that were a little cheaper, and I was like, oh, I could get, a couple of these. But I was like, I really want this one. Let's go for quality. Dawn of the Dead, the director's cut on Laserdisc. Look at that big, beautiful cover. Got, Flyboy right there. There's the Monroeville Mall. It's such an iconic movie, and it's one of my absolute favorites. It's one of the earliest horror movies that I remember watching. Not only the movie, but the behind the scenes for. Getting to see how they did like the fire effects and the helicopter that takes the zombie's head off. Great stuff. And of course, have the infamous mall scene with all the zombies and the bikers. So yeah, I couldn't pass that up, and now it's part of my collection. I love it. Now this movie is one that I am not familiar with, but I know the infamy behind it, and it's a Blue Underground release, so it's good. And that is Snuff. This is a 1976 movie, so this predates Halloween, and of course, it fits into the old grindhouse era where they were trying to shock people. And this is one that basically is like people are shooting a fake snuff film, and then the actress actually gets killed, quote unquote. But it's a movie, of course. People back then probably thought, oh my gosh. But it's probably by today's standards pretty tame. But it's one that I've heard about and I've always wanted to check out. So, and I love this tagline: the film that could only be made in South America, where life is cheap. That's a pretty fucked statement. So now let's move on to the VHS. I'm not going to do them in any particular order. And I didn't get just horror movies. I'm not going to show those here, but I only bought 2 non-horror movie VHS. I'll let you speculate. We're not going to talk about non-horror on this channel. So first off, I have Tom Savini, The Ripper. This is infamously a movie that he is very ashamed of. But I said, you know what? It's got Tom Savini in it. I love his work. I don't know if I'm going to love his acting, but, we'll find out. Yeah, and he didn't even do the special effects on this. He's actually in the movie. It says a new horror classic is born. The reason I got this is not only that Tom Savini's in it, it's a shot on video type movie. So low budget, bad acting. I'm expecting great things from this. And if not, hey, it's a conversation piece for Tom Savini fans. Next up, I have How to Halloween Makeups from the SFX team of Robot Ninja and The Dead Next Door. They have these sealed. These were released by Lunch Meat Video. If you know who they are, you probably should. And Future Video. I've never heard of them. But it's basically like a tutorial on how to do, different makeup effects. You got an exorcism victim, a lizard, alien, cat. Um, this kind of stuff is just awesome. There's some actual like retro VHS. There's like a pumpkin carving one that people actually made back in the day. I imagine this is not meant to like parody that, but like shot in a similar style. It does look, if it wasn't shot in like the '90s, they definitely got the aesthetic down. So I'm really excited to crack this open and check it out. Next we have Puppet Master 5, one of the ones I was missing. So now I'm only missing part 4. Technically, I'm missing Retro, but I'm not. I don't want to get that one on VHS anyways. I already have it on DVD. So yeah, the thing that I remember when I rented these from Family Video is that they'd always have the featurette at the end where they show some of the behind the scenes stuff. Trying to remember what it's called. Full Moon's Video Zone, I want to say is what. Yeah, it says it right there. I'm stupid. Yeah, so it's just kind of fun to see the behind the scenes stuff and how they made the puppets work. How they came up with some of the ideas. They weren't very long. And like some of the movies that I've been watching for my Halloween marathon for Full Moon Week, they didn't have the video zones on the DVD. I think only one of them did, and that was The Creeps. So maybe they just stopped doing it after a while, but I always thought that was kind of a unique, fun thing that Full Moon did. So I don't know if they stopped doing that, but they should definitely bring that back. I haven't checked my other Full Moon DVDs to check to see if they have them. I should. I'd love to see their ideas for a Ginger Dead Man. Now here's a movie that I walked away from and came back and snagged because I'm like, what am I thinking? I have to have this movie. It's one of my favorite zombie movies ever. I got plastic on it. And that's Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Now there's the standard cover with like the hand drawn where they're sitting next to the corpse. But this one is just so violent and in your face. This is a very underrated classic zombie movie that I think not enough zombie fans talk about. Another one that wasn't in the discussion but now seems to be is Burial Ground. But, this is one that I've always said, if there's a zombie movie that I would remake, this would be it. Because, what's the guy's name? I can't remember the main guy's name, but the eccentric guy. Yeah, I always forget his damn name, but he's just so over the top and he's so entertaining. I'm like, he makes up for the fact that you don't see the zombies till like the last 15 minutes of the movie, I think. And you're just kind of along for this wild ride of these kids doing something horrible where they dig up a body and they're pretending to marry it and stuff. So that's always been one of my favorites. Next, we have a movie from my bingo list, which I was very sad I didn't see a lot of those movies on there. Don't know if it would have saved my wallet anymore. But, it would have been nice to come home with Halloween 3 and New Nightmare. But, I mean, it's not like they're hard to find. But this movie might be. And I have the first one, so I said, why not get Critters 2? The Critters movies have always been a lot of fun. And these covers are pretty iconic. I don't have the first one within reach. But, yeah, you know what they look like. And this is the one I think that most people remember more because that big critter ball. I actually did a short of that art, and there wasn't very many options because, you do the AI art to video or picture to video, and I just picked the one that I thought looked good. Kind of looks a little goofy, but whatever. And you can't talk about Critters without talking about its ripoff that was kind of successful in its own right, and that's Ghoulies. This is a very iconic cover. This and the sequel also had a good cover, but this is the one that, a lot of people remember. They're like, oh, the little guys coming out of the toilet. They'll get you in the end. And I love the fact that this is got a little bit, but not too much sun damage. So I hate when movies are fully sun damaged, but this is showing a little bit of its age in just the right amount. So I think that's great. I got a lot of sequels. What can I say? And this is another one that I saw, and I was like, you know what? I have the first one, which I can reach it. I can reach it. And I was like, you know what? These movies look great side by side. Eventually, I'm gonna have to reorganize my tapes on the display. And I got Jack Frost 2. Yeah, so you get these next to each other, and they're I love it. And it's got the new release sticker, which is kind of annoying because it's covering up the this tagline. He's icing and slicing, but you know it's not a big deal, and it's kind of cool to have some of the original stickers and stuff from the rental store. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't think of that. And now that I've gotten all these, I can go through with my stickers and put some more on some of the tapes. Yeah. Next, we have a movie that I only have the first one of, and I didn't see that there, or I would have probably bought that. But I was like, you know what? It's been a while. I haven't watched it all the way, and I've heard decent things about it, not fantastic things, but it's another iconic one. Oh, and I didn't even know that. And that's Night of the Demons 2, and I just discovered this. Well, this is a screener, which, you know, they're meant to, like, sell you on the idea of, like, hey, get multiple copies and rent them out. But I did not know that this opens up. That's so cool. Look at that. You got, like, the Queen of Terror is back with another howling success. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's so cool. So there's like buy 3 copies of Night of the Demons 2 now, and you'll receive 2 bonus copies of the monstrously successful original Night of the Demons, plus 6 Scully Pops in every pack. Absolutely free. So, kind of what she's eating right there, except it's an actual candy of it. That's really cool. And it's got like little trivia stuff. The first time, Night of the Demons was a howling success, scaring up over $4.5 million at the box office. Then, on video, it proved too frightening to resist, racking up over $1.6 million in rentals. Crazy. Yeah. Now, here is the only Troma movie that I saw that I was like, oh, I have that on DVD, but I don't have it on VHS. It would have been nice to find Citizen Toxie or Sergeant Kabuki Man or even Class of Nukem High. I think Surf Nazis Must Die would be like the biggest one to find. But I found Blood-Sucking Freaks, the director's cut. So this movie is infamous for its shock value, gratuity. These quotes on the back: sicko, gross out, ghastly, utterly sickening. And then you get this guy, he's just having a good old time. So, great movie. Ready to watch that one. And here we have one of the Blind Dead movies, but it was probably not too popular by that title. I remember one of them's called like Night of the Seagulls, which I used to own on VHS, and I should have kept it. But back then I was naive and thinking, oh, this is stupid. Even though they're part of horror history that, you know, a lot of people overlook. And that's Return of the Evil Dead. They had to steal the Evil Dead title. But this cover is just so awesome. It's got like the hand-drawn art. It says, scream so they can find you because they're blind. Tonight they return and everyone will die. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So, this is just simple but effective. I like it. Next we have a movie that I used to mistake for another movie, which, let me see if I can find that one. Now this is the movie that I remember watching as a kid. But when I would always try and find it, I couldn't find it, or it was like super expensive. But this movie would always pop up too. And I was like, I don't think I've seen Mosquito. Now, I've heard it's not that great. I think Gunnar Hansen is in it, which he was also in Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, and of course, he's the original Leatherface. I've heard he's not the best actor in this, but, you know, who cares? It's a movie about giant mosquitoes. Like, I'm not looking for Shakespeare. But yeah, this is one that I've never seen, and I said, you know what, it sounds like a lot of fun. Why not? And then, last but not least, like I said, I did these in no particular order, so I'm not like choosing this is my best one, my favorite one. I mean, if we're being honest, though, yeah. But that's not the VHS. I spotted all three of these movies, but I said, you know what, I want to stick with the first two because I'm sure that those are the harder ones to find, quote unquote, especially the first one. Um, and I've never seen them. So I was like, you know what? I'll start with first and second. And if I like these well enough, I'll try and find the third one. And that is Extro. I got Extro 1. And then I also have Extro 2, The Second Encounter. This one looks a little more sci-fi-esque. This one is a more, I've heard, more horror, more gratuitous. So yeah, I got a good stack, and a large portion of those are movies that I haven't seen or haven't seen in a very long time, and I think that's a good way to go about when you go to a convention. I mean, you can grab, stuff that you already have seen, like a different version. Like, obviously, Dawn of the Dead. I've seen this movie a million times. I love it. But, I don't have it on Laserdisc, so, I don't care. I'll watch it again. And does that remove from the enjoyment of the film? No, of course not. But it's nice to have options like, hey, now if I want to watch Extra, I don't have to look it up on YouTube and hope that they didn't take out all the good parts. Because you can find some decent horror movies on YouTube. I might make a video about that in the future. I've done it in the past, but I thought this time I might actually, check these movies to make sure they're working, see if they're missing any pivotal scenes, at least for movies I know. And kind of give you guys the deets on that, but we'll see about that. But yeah, for right now, I'm gonna go celebrate my birthday, and I hope you guys are having a great day. And stay tuned Sunday. I'll definitely have a video up then, and I'll see you later.